All right, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of the Bassin Biology. I'm your host, Thad. Today we have two special guests. One is young Charlie Sanders, who is a fantastic up-and-comer in the kayak world, the fishing world, and we have his dad here with us as well. So it's going to be a little more Bassin on this episode, a little less biology, but that's the fun of it. We're just going to have a good time, have a good conversation, and kind of see what's going on with him. So, Charlie, we're just going to kind of talk about how you approach tournaments, kind of how you got started, and what you plan on doing in the future. So Charlie is you're 15, correct? 15-year-old, just caught a huge win at the native tournament, 4th place.
Yep.
Killed it out there for being the youngest ever catch a check in. You qualified for the KDF National Championship. You'll be old enough to fish Bassmasters next year. And you've been dominating the 4-H program since I established it. He is one of the ones that's come out of my 4-H program here in Mississippi. That I helped start with the sport fishing on that. He has come out hot swinging. Him and one other guy has dominated, but Charlie has been kind of one-sided lately. So let's kind of talk about I know you get asked this a lot. Let's talk about how you kind of got started in the kayak fishing world.
I got started kayak fishing. I've had a kayak since I was about 4, but I didn't start really getting into it, learning a lot until probably 3 years ago. And then I started fishing some kayak my first kayak tournament was with 4-H, and I got 3rd. Ton of fun, and I really just I didn't stop doing tournaments since then.
Gotcha. So, and that's kind of got you started in it. So your age, you fish in local tournaments.
Yeah.
And you fish on the national side of those. What do you find more enjoyable, fishing the smaller local tournaments where it's a little bit of camaraderie, guys you can see over and over again, or going, fishing against the giant names, the big names of the kayak world, the Russ Snyders, the Fleet Masters, next show Bassmasters, fishing like Christine Fisher, stuff like them. Which one do you think you kind of enjoyed more?
Yeah, I think I enjoy the national tournaments more, just because they're big. It's they're big, they're you're really dialed and focused throughout the entire tournament, and I really enjoy that aspect of it, the big money, I enjoy that.
So you ought to shoot for the fence of the big money?
Yeah.
I can't blame you, you've cashed checks on the big stage, so it's kind of fun, it's kind of impressive, especially at your age, and through your other podcasts and a lot of the people I talk to in the fishing world, they talk about how, as young as you are, how mature and level-headed you are to be fishing at the level you are. How do you keep a level head? I know you go that phone with your buddies and stuff, and I know once it comes to tournament fishing, you kind of flip a switch on that and get a lot more level-headed, a lot more down to earth, a lot more reserved. How do you go about doing that?
I throughout fun fishing, I'll kind of distinguish if I really learning of the water, or if I'm just kind of having fun, but still always learning. But in tournaments, I really there's never missed, I try not to miss any casts or waste time. Just you only have 8 hours. 8 hours is a long time to stay focused.
But it's also that 8 hours turns real short, really quick.
Fair enough. And you can easily get distracted, and then you lose an hour doing something that's not working that day. So you really just have to be on your toes, kind of being able to change.
Mosquitoes, guys. We're in Mississippi. It's hot. We're in my garage. There's mosquitoes. It happens. So if you see me swat one, that's what it is. So yeah, bring your stuff and let you know when you're down low earth like that. I know because we fish a bunch of the same big times together, mainly because you ride with me to a lot of these big times and local tournaments. And it has been fantastic to see you evolve into the fisherman you are. Because your fish IQ and your fish knowledge, and again, some of the bigger guys I've talked to, they say they wish at your age they had your fish IQ knowledge because they compare you to some of the older guys who are in their 30s and 40s who they believe you have greater, water knowledge, greater tackle knowledge, greater technique knowledge than they do. Personally, I think it's because even me growing up, and I'm in my 30s, them growing up like was, we did not have access to YouTube, to the internet like you do. Do you find that to be your big tools?
Yeah, I use that a lot just because the information's out there and I don't feel like enough people use it. Like, there's so much, especially in fishing, like there's just so much information, and that's what I try and use a lot, and that helps me. And then the keeping a level head, like, I don't win all the time, but I get skunked like occasionally, and that does it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're a competitive kid. You are. I'm competitive, and one of my goals in the water when I'm out there, one, because my competitive side is, I always want 2 bites an hour and 1 fish an hour. And that's always kind of my goal. You got 8 hours, you get 2 bites an hour, and you get at least one of those fish. That's 8 fish. That's a chance for at least a decent bag.
Yeah,
that's kind of my mindset a lot of the time. And if I have to look at it too, where if I get 4 bites in the first hour and catch 3 fish in the first hour, that gives us a breathing room. You kind of approach it anyway like that.
Yeah, like in the native tournament was the first time that I really had like some hard goals, and it was a fish every 30 minutes. And I think that's what really helped me, because I would go like the first 45 minutes to an hour, I didn't catch a fish. And then I caught 1, caught 2, and then that made up for the last. And then I can just keep focusing and like, okay, I really need to put my head down, get a fish. And then I'd have a little bit of breathing room. And that really helped me with time management throughout the day. And throughout that tournament, like knowing when to make the adjustments by checking the clock and like being like, okay, it's 10:40. I need to catch another fish by 11:10. Like, yeah.
And those are realistic goals.
Yeah.
And that's something, I stress a lot of the younger generation is, set goals, but set realistic goals.
Yeah.
And that's always been a big thing for me, is make sure I have a realistic goal. Am I going to go out there and catch, 100 fish in 8 hours? Probably not. I've done it, but am I going to be in a tournament? No. If it is, if something has gone completely off the rails and I'm catching 100, that means someone else is probably catching 200 that 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I look at it. And for those of you who don't know out there who's watching this, we're both on the kayak side of fishing. He fishes out of the native Titan just like I do. In fact, you have the exact same model Titan I do, just a different color, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So a lot of y'all watch, your MLF, the Bass Master Elite Series, the Opens. They bring 5 fish, weigh them in. MLF is every fish counts. And the kayak version does both those as well. We do 5 fish for most tournaments. Some smaller locals have 3 fish. And then the native tournament, talking about the native power hour, big bass power hour, you catch a check whoever has the biggest bass every hour. But it's an MLF style event where every fish counts. And we use these, catch boards right here. You use the carbonate.
I use a Yak Tack leaderboard. He's just a different rotor.
Yeah, he used the leaderboard. I use a catch board, and the way we do it is, of course, everyone's boards are checked. Everything is the same. These are the two most accepted boards. Some still use hog trough. Have you ever seen some tournament with hog trough?
I've never like seen, or I've been in like 2 or 3 tournaments that allow hog trough.
See, that hog trough and catch was it when I first started. And hog trough got phased out because you could find a way to cheat with them. Of course, these carbonate ones, these metal ones, you can't. Then you got your identifier right here that's got your code on it that's only released, that morning the night before, so no one can go out and take pictures of fish stuff. That's how we identify them. We normally submit them through an app, Attorney X, Fish Chaos. There's another one called Scales. It's like a smaller, like very localized one, but that's another one I found going on in that. If those y'all are wondering what my robe is, again, my wife had this awesome sweatshirt made that's got my logos, big logo on the back and the front. So trying to wear it tonight. That bit is smoldering in here. Yeah. It's absolutely hot.
Indeed.
Yes. So we kind of talked about how do you look at tournaments and approach tournaments. Other than looking at tournaments in that aspect, how do you prepare for your big tournaments? Like, what's yours? I know I look at maps. I look at, I try to find YouTube videos, public information. I put in for stuff. How do you go about preparing for these bigger tournaments?
Well, I normally, Google Maps is normally Google Maps and Google Earth is what I look at the most and I just kind of I look for a couple things. If it's a lake I've been to before, a lot of the time, like at Gunnersville, I have marks in every spot that I've caught a fish on the whole lake. And so I can kind of look and see. I don't have marks for every fish. I just have the spots. And that I can kind of just look, remember the time of year, and because I've been into Gunnersville 3 times now. So that lake, I've kind of figured out some spots and kind of have an overall, I've looked over the lake in person and on maps. But if it's a new lake I've never been to, I'll try and find a depth map and then just the satellite image. And I will look for spots on the satellite image that I see watercolor changes and anything interesting. And then I'll look at those on the depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I keep a notebook. Of course, you've seen the little green ones I keep in here, but I keep an overall big notes. And y'all seen these notes. I always have them in these videos stuff where I have them notes on, but I keep them for my hunting bags. I keep for my fishing bags. If I find a great pattern that time of the year, I'll record what I caught it on, water temperature, depth, everything like that. That's just the biologist part of me. That's kind of the training thing. And I always do a waterproof paper. You write on it with pencils because waterproof paper will still run with pen, but it won't rip. You want a pencil. But usually any kind of log like this.
No, I'll log through fish logging apps. I'll log fish and it'll keep track of water temperature, moon phase, even wind direction and air temperature, and I'll do that, but I don't really keep much logs. Yeah.
Highly recommend you start because one day those fish apps may just get deleted.
Yeah.
So it's a good practice. I took it up, from being a biologist. It's part of the job. You take notes in the field notes. It's just always been a thing with me. Like I said, I've got one for hunting, hiking, fishing, all kinds of things because sometimes you fish history a lot of the time, or do you fish history on dependence, or do you fish history to see if it will repeat?
I don't normally see if it'll repeat. But a lot of the times, even if it's I've been to a bunch, if it's I've been to a bunch, I will fish more history, but I'm there's always the spots that you overlook that you overlook a couple times, then you catch fish off of them, and then you're man, I shouldn't overlook these spots anymore, but just because you have the ones you like, but you can't always fish just those. But if it's lake I've been to 2 or 3 times, all of those times will be different times of year, so you can't really fish history if it's a different time of year. But yeah,
That's fair. So on my notes on the history, even if like in March, I saw, because you know that big tournament I fished in March on Lamar Reefs, I caught that 106 inches.
Yeah.
It was a freak day. 75 the day before, 28 degrees the next day when we launched. We had another tournament that same time of year, but it was cold that entire week. So my history didn't pan out. I checked it, but I knew I always have a backup plan. Like you were talking about, you have your backup plans, which is always smart. Again, kid's 15 years old. His fishing IQ is, I wish my fishing IQ 15 would have been as high as his. But again, he utilizes technology and what he's given. He's not only utilize it. That's a hard word to say sometimes. It's public education. Utilizes it, but he utilizes it to its fullest. He doesn't just look at it. He goes in depth on it. All right, we're about the 16-minute mark. So right now, I like to thank the people. They don't sponsor this channel. I get nothing from mentioning this on this channel, but they do help me in the realm of fishing. Red Fin sunglasses, they are fantastic. These are new Outer Banks by them. The Grand Releases cut to the water. Then you've got Satchel Fishing Company. Just got my PB on it. Doubled it twice this year, so broke it twice this year with them. Spear Point hooks, absolutely phenomenal hookup rate. They're astronomically good. Really love them. And last but not least, Lowrance. Just started the Axstar 2. I've always had a Lowrance unit the last few years. Their side scan was amazing. Just upgraded to Active Target 2 and have a Forward Facing Sonar. It's a great tool. I use it more for dead water, but I could not do my fishing journey without them. You have any companies that help you?
I'm a Newport. I'm an ambassador for them. Tactical Fishing, and I'm working on getting a couple more, but those are the main 2.
Evolve Rod Sleeves, and then they just opened their ambassador program today.
Yeah. Closes
in 2 weeks. But I like to support the people who support me and support guys like Charlie, especially young up and comers. So they support us. Y'all show them a little love. T Moody 10 get you 10% off from Tactical Fishing Company, and then True Dave boots and outerwear. The Other Outdoors will get you 15% off. Help them out. They support me, so y'all support them. Thank y'all for those who do it. Now back for the regularly scheduled programming. So being young, you can't drive these tournaments.
Yeah.
You started, fishing on the national side at age 14?
13.
13. You fish in national tournaments 13 years old in the kayak round. That is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So you couldn't do that, without a support system. I like to, I do drive them sometimes, but I know your grandmother's a huge player, your mom and your dad, and that's like they are astronomically well at supporting you and doing what they can. Tell us a little bit about, how their support helps you with that.
Yeah. My mom and dad, they always help, drive me, help just talk, follow, post on social media. They do a lot of things that I'm forgetting to mention, but they just do a lot. And my grandmother, she bought my first kayak, Old Town 120 PDL, and that helped me so much, just moving me straight from a Pelican paddle kayak to a pedal Old Town. Great, amazing upgrade, and that really, I didn't have to, save up for months to be able to afford a kayak from working all summer. It really just pushed me forward, and I was able to buy rods and reels with my money from doing yard work during the summer.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people in the fishing world, they say, oh, kids are doing it. His, must be nice and parents shouldn't do it. Yes, his parents, I mean, they help, but you've been mowing yards for, what, 2-3 years now during the summer to earn money and all kind of other jobs?
Yeah, 3 years now. Yeah. Like this year I started doing it a lot more hours, and so probably 2 days a week. Yeah.
So, I mean, he works hard. He fishes hard, but he works just as hard to earn his way. This stuff wasn't just given to him. This kid's earned his way to do things. He's done a fantastic job with it.
Yeah.
And it's good to see, you know, that you're very appreciative of what your parents, your grandparents have done for you. People's helped you. Anytime you've won, I've seen numerous interviews with you. You always thank them. Your podcast, you always thank them. That just kind of shows how humble you are, because you know, without them, you couldn't do what you do, man, because you can't drive yet. But you kind of paid your own way into a lot of this stuff. It wasn't just handed.
Yeah. And like that's like the biggest thing. Yeah. And like through like doing so many side jobs, I sell some 3 different kayak parts on eBay, mostly the knobs, the floating PDL knobs for the Old Town kayaks.
And they work on the XI3s as well. Same size thing. So they will work on like the XI3s. I don't know if they work on the motor guides or not, but the older XI3s, it works on mine. I've got the non-GPS port one. So it works on mine too. So they're fantastically made.
Yeah, like I've shipped over 100 of them, and there's just lots of little side things for a long time. They just add up.
So the hustle culture is real with you. I was untouched.
That is.
Of course, to our side here, we have Dad. Dad wants to pop in for a second. I said, a few questions before what was your first thought when Charlie started all this?
Yeah. Well, he's always fished. You can go back and look at pictures. There's a sail, tiny tot, and a fishing bowl, and a kayaks as he was really young. He really didn't get into it until the 4-H club. He was playing a lot of soccer, and he's caught a big fish. I probably like it. Seemed real big at the time.
Yeah.
But probably now it's about 3.5, 4 pounds, and that kind of a demon. As much as he did in the town. And just ever since then, he came in third in the first tournament, paddling around when, it was kayak or bass fishing boat. He lost a couple. It was his first time using one of these catch boards.
Yeah.
Ever so well.
Step.
Improving his skills and his gear, all the time.
What was your thought when he started fishing, started qualifying fishing on the national stage?
I think it's cool, When his first big national tournament was 13, he'd only had his pedal kayak, not even a week.
A week,
Maybe. And, I don't know, I think he beat half the field.
Yeah.
Carry about 60 and the 120.
Which is still phenomenal. Yeah, it's like you're 13 years old out there with a brand new kayak and on a national stage.
Probably only had 2 or 3 poles,
Yeah, I think 30 or yeah.
Yeah. Never fished a grass lake, ever.
Yeah.
And dropped off at Sidewall Point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uppersville.
And last.
It's crazy.
Just go for all.
So he learned on the fly real quick that day.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. When I know you were watching this last Native Power Hour when he was, because you were texting me, so, how's he doing and stuff. Yeah. Called me. What was your thought when you started seeing him? He passed Russ Snyder, he passed Luke Master, he started, he hit that top of the top, and then it cut the leaderboard off right when he was about to jump a few more. What was your thoughts there? See you do that at 15 years old.
Pretty cool, because we're watching him on Life 360, so you can see him moving around. We can see him catch fish, and we're on the phone a lot. That last one he lost, we were putting up there in second, but it'd be a good day.
And like that day, every time I think, because I lost like just a couple that didn't like that. Like looking back on if I would have got like one of those second, two of those first, and I'm like, that's crazy. But one less, I wouldn't. If I would have lost even one more fish, I would have dropped down to 9. And if I would have lost, like, so I'm happy with what I got, and knowing that I could, like, I was so close to winning.
Makes you want more.
Yeah.
Well, I know you went in with like a goal,
The top 10.
150 inches, and based on previous tournaments, that would have put him like 10th or so.
What was each fish want to? 214?
To 237.
237.
Yeah.
I did. So I barely cracked 100. I lost that big one, and I lost a $5,000 fish, and I spiraled after that. That hurt my feelings because I had it in the kayak and it flopped out. I had it on my board and it flopped the opposite direction of my net. That I spiraled after that, and I batted down in my head. If you lose big fish, you're a little young. You spiral, do you redo yourself or?
Well, I think it's kind of all about how you handle it after you lose the big fish. In tournaments, most of the time, I I try not to. And, like, in that native tournament, I lost, 18-ish. And I was like, it. Like, I knew I was still doing well. And I could do well without that fish as long as I didn't spiral. And that's something if you spiral, you're basically throwing away the day, or at least the next hour, because you aren't gonna look set right. You aren't gonna be focused for landing.
And see, that's what happened to me. Is I lost 2 more after that big one. Then about an hour and a half later, I caught 4 back to back to back. I got in my head, big tournament, and just note this too. When he goes to these big tournaments with me, one, thank you for trusting your son with me out in the, taking him out of state to fish. But 2, when he goes to these, I if I'm there with him, I stay with the eyesight of him. 1, it's the rules, and 2, he's 15 years old and things happen in the world. There's crazy boaters out there. There's crazy people out there. So I always stay with an eyesight of him no matter what. Doesn't mean I'm fishing the same techniques or using him to figure stuff out. It's a safety thing. Just like I always wear my life jacket no matter what in the kayak. I know you do too. 1 is the rules and 2 is safety. But the simple fact of, watching you fish is a fantastic thing to see someone out there going like you and going at it, going hard. And I know there's, high school bass teams, stuff like that. And I've always been adamant that if you can be an excellent angler in a kayak, because we don't have the ability to make them 70-mile runs, 40-mile runs. We don't have the ability to carry 25 rods or 10, 15 bags of gear, different baits, stuff like that. We don't have that ability. And, any given someday, you take a great kayak angler out and a great bass angler out and said, y'all fish this area. My buddies on the kayak angler all day because they learn how to do more with less. And, what's kind of your opinion on that?
On the kayak versus boat?
Yeah.
Yeah. For kayak, I really enjoy the kayak, and it's so quiet. But one day I think I might want to get into boat, depending on how everything goes. But I'm pretty content with kayak, and I think the skill overall boaters, I feel like are better. Or if you take an average of both. But that's also someone who has been enough to invest $50,000 in a boat. And there's a lot more newer people in kayak fishing. And I also feel like a lot more older people. I feel like I see kayak anglers who I see a lot more old kayak anglers than old boaters.
Yeah, I can see that. Russell Rutledge is 70-something. Carl Hudson is 70+.
Yeah.
They are, Carl's won many, and then Russell won at Lamar Breeze the other day at that big tournament. And I can agree with that, and to a point. I used to fish bass boat tournaments. Still regret selling my boat with circumstances. They were young life and in your 20s. You do what you got to do. But I do miss the boat aspect of it. I will say, sitting in the kayak seat, highly recommend if you're a buy kayak, get one with a really good seat because those other ones kill your back. Sitting in a kayak in a tournament or just fish like we got fish, for 10 hours plus, without a good seat, I would be great. Yeah, bass boats definitely. There's a comfort aspect to the bass boat.
Yeah, when he was in those tournaments, those RA tournaments, I was still in a Pelican, 100
Man,
20 or something.
yeah.
And, seat matters for sure.
Yeah, 100% the seat matters. We've gone over a lot in this short hour because we hit 30 at the mark and most mine are 30. We're going to probably go a little over on this when we got so it's fun to learn from someone like you. And that's what you have taught me because I've always been a power fisher, throw Texas rig, a lot of crankbaits, a lot of moving baits, spinner baits, stuff like that. I've never really been a finesse fisherman. And then the last year and a half, y'all finally convinced me, throw wacky worms, throw a few other things. And I've been, this year I've been killing it on the swagger stick, but I know I sucked and I thought I did. Think of VMC crossover rings, but these swagger sticks with the 6mm VMC crossover rings. That's one I heard blow off in the thing in there earlier. Yeah, fan right here, guys. It was hot. You've taught me more than, again, I've been fishing most of my life. I have a master's degree in conservation biology, concentration in fisheries. I have an undergrad in fisheries biology. Fish is my life. From the tournament side of it, to the science side of it, to the fun side of it. I fished since I was probably 3 years old. And the last, 2 years fishing with you, I've learned because you have deep dived into stuff and said, well, try this, try that, crazy things. It's like, I never threw finesse stuff. You never threw an underspin. And then I watched you get big bass on some wackies. I started throwing them. You watched me catch, my PB back to back on an underspin. Now you throw one. So, but guys, just because, I've done it my whole life, and I've seen some of these professionals who have learned from younger guys doing stuff, and you don't use front facing sonar.
No, I've experimented with it a couple times, but I'm definitely gonna get it, and probably by next fishing season. But I haven't used it yet. For me, I have down and side scan, but most of the most down scan I use the most, mainly bottom contact, to see what the bottom is. The hardness of it, and that's probably what I use it for the most.
See, I almost exclusively use my side scan, just so I can see more on water structure. I've learned, to read it, the fish shadows, brim stuff like that, find the grass creek how you want and cover like that. So all y'all out there in YouTube land or wherever you're watching this from, who's saying, "Oh, he's probably a scope." He's not a scope. Get off of it. He ain't a scoper. Get off of it.
Yeah.
he may become one, but he ain't one right now.
Nope. Yeah. That's something that I want, that I want to get into because I know it's something that I would be good at, but I also, I'm comfortable where I am shallow, and, I don't stay crazy shallow,
You like the deep crank. I know that's one of your favorite methods is deep cranking.
Yeah, definitely up there. Anything under 15 foot, I really like.
Yeah, you don't see all the key juries throwing, the big cranks out there. Fishing, on the lakes, and he's like, "There's a crankbait." He's like, "Yeah, Tom, chuck it out there." How big was that fish?
God, I was 6.5.
Yeah. I was like, I'm determined to get him. Why did I tell him that?
Yeah, I was like, "Shut that out of that jerkbait or crankbait?" Oh yeah, crankbait. And then it was pretty set.
It's 3-4 casts later or something.
Yeah.
Hooked that absolute was 22.5, 23, something like that.
I think it was 22.5, and it was in the same, the exact same, depth chain. It was it's a weird drop off that comes out of a cove, and
Same place I caught that
Yeah.
9-4 and a couple 8s and 7s out there too.
yeah,
Yeah, one holds fish. Like, yeah, I thought there. I was like, why did I tell him that? And you went, all right, guys. All right, we're back after some overheating of the camera. I had it Bluetooth to my phone and it overheats, so don't do that in the future. Don't shoot yourself and me. So we discussed a lot of things. Let's just hit on a few more. Like, what's your favorite fishing technique?
I really like speed cranking. Probably, it's just a lot of fun. And when you get a big fish in that and it's down deep, I like that. And then a wacky, I've had so much success with it. If you can put it in the right place and kind of take it further than most anglers, like most, like that's a beginner technique. Most people don't like run with it and keep, like they'll just tie it on when they need to catch a fish. But if you really dial it in, you can get some very big fish.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've caught multiple giants on it since then. I think first fish I ever caught a wacky was a 9 1/4, and the second one was a 23 1/2.
Yeah.
7.5 pounder. But it's I agree with that, and like you skip it really well, and I skip it. I don't just skip it up off your tree. I don't just skip it up on our docks. I skip it all the way to the bank, every cast around timber, everything. The reason I do that is because the skipping mimics a fleeing bait fish. It can toss. This is where the body part comes in. It can toss that that bass or that other predatory fish into that the attack mode, that predator mode, that hunting mode with fleeing prey, and it can almost trigger a bite. And I've seen them blow up on, like as it skips, blow up on top like a topwater. As soon as it skips and touches the bank, blow up on the bank. And I know you've probably seen that as well. So that's the balls us today is skipping, stuff like that. You see people skip jigs up under, people skip, worms up on docks, up under trees. When it comes to wacky, unless it's just an astronomically far cast I need to, because I know the fish are spooky, I will skip it. And I'll probably skip it 30 yards plus, just because it mimics that fleeing bait fish. And I've seen great success. I know you have. I know you've seen great success with it, using the wacky. And it has. I'm never using it to always have. In fact, I have a rod that's for nothing but wacky worms.
Yeah.
Unlike him, I do not tie a leader. He ties leaders on everything.
Yeah. Like with the wacky, the skipping, and it just like every bait makes the blow when it hits the water. Like even if you cast as low as possible, it'll still make a. I think that just kind of breaks it up, so it's less of a blow when it hits the water. It's more of just like a softer entry, and that I feel like the fish can get used to the noise of baits in the water, and I've heard, yeah.
100%. So don't blink it. Don't blink it, guys. It's don't blink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with you, on that aspect of it. And for those of you that want to why a stick bait that doesn't really look like anything in the water, watch the previous episode 4, and it goes into why the rods that comes with bass turn that stick bait into mimicking anything from lewd brim to salamander to a worm that's underwater, wounded bait fish, tadpoles. It can look a lot of things to look exactly like anything, but it looks like a lot of things. It looks like it enough to trigger a bass bite. I go into all that in the previous episode of Bassin Biology, episode 4, the Great Bait Debate. So that's a great little tie-in for that there. Yeah. So talk about your accolades. Talk about how you got there, your hard work, determination, your knowledge of fish IQ. You kind of look in the background of things. Where can these people find you on social?
Well, on social, I do. Instagram is at Charlie Sanders Fishing, and YouTube, and I try and be relatively consistent on both of those. But right now, I'm not fishing as much as I do normally, and so I'm a little less posting less. And then on YouTube, I get a video out whenever I can, and yeah, I try and keep everything up to date.
So if y'all want to keep up with this young, phenomenon, I tell you, because I see you going far in the world of fishing. You're at the right age to be able to do that. You get started correctly. You're doing it the right way. You're building your skill set and your knowledge set. I'm gonna link all of his, I'm gonna link his YouTube social in the in this video description. I'll link one of his videos at the end of this page, so y'all be able to find him, watch, and continue to watch him as he, becomes, the next phenomenon. I don't want to say the next Trey McKinney. I don't want to say the next KVD, because it's always been my thing. Don't be the next someone else. Be the first you. And that's been your thing the whole time. You don't want to be the next Trey. You want to be the first Charlie Sanders.
Yeah, definitely. Like that. My plans for the future are really like I don't know like 3-4 like years in the future, but for next year, my plans, I'll be able to drive, so I'm going to fish a lot more local tournaments, and then try and get 3 Bassmaster tournaments if I can for Angler of the Year. That's one of my goals, but I don't know that, like, they haven't released the schedule, but...
Yeah, as of right now, the schedule's not out. Looking at you, what was it, Owens?
Steve Owens.
Steve Owens, that's right. I want to take Kevin on first. That's someone over with. Steve Owens, looking at you. You want to release them, man? Come on now. By the time this video airs, they'll probably be released, and I don't look like that idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's thanks for y'all coming on. I know it's late night, guys. It's late afternoon, probably 8:30 or so. Thanks for y'all's time. Come out and film this podcast. I look forward to fishing with you more. Probably continue to get beat by you. You beat me more this year than I beat you. And I really need to change that. That's didn't used to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Well, thank y'all. We'll see y'all next episode, and you're probably gonna see Charlie on here a few more times at least. If nothing up more than a co-host, discuss some things. So y'all go out, be good, take your kids fishing, because you never know what it'll turn into, and be great stewards of the land. We'll see you next time.
Yep.